Yo, what's up, aliens? Welcome to Centennial High School. Centennial High School is a high school in Roswell, Georgia. That's the big thing you need to know. But what do you need to know about the culture of Centennial? How are you going to get to know that? Well, in this video brochure, I'm here to explain that to you. So let's go over the four basics of culture: language, symbols, norms, and values. At Centennial, language, we got multiple languages. We got English, we got Spanish, we got French, we got a lot of different languages, and there's a lot of different language departments. There, kids take classes to learn different languages. So, if that's what you're looking for, that's where you go. You go to those different language classes. Now, with symbols, a big symbol is the big old C. That is Centennial. That's our logo, and you can see that plastered all over the school because that's what a symbol is, a logo, a very widely recognizable thing. Now, for norms, we follow basically most regular human culture norms of wearing clothes, being respectful to one another, but we also follow some school norms like, turning in work and, getting from class to class on time through the bell. So that's kind of what's going on there. And some values. Values are strange in high school because everybody's figuring out who they are. So not everybody has the same values at the same time, but we all kind of hold some general ones like, being rude, not the nicest thing to do, that kind of stuff, just general kindliness to one another. So those are some pretty solid values. All right, so with cultural change and diversity, one big thing that we have is a material versus a non-material culture. Non-material culture is a lot more attitudes and person-to-person relationships, whereas material culture is like a lot of times phones and clothes. As you can tell, I'm very much on the clothes side, wearing my X-Men t-shirt. But basically every single person at Centennial has a phone or some other type of technology, AirPods for some people. And that's kind of the difference between material and non-material culture. A lot more non-material culture at Centennial is more, person to person, gossip, I guess, falls under that as well. But, how you interact with other people. Whereas the material culture, that's more what you have, what you're flexing. God, it sounds so old. But yeah, basically what you present to everyone, what you walk around with. So that's kind of the major difference at Centennial. But at Centennial, there's also the impact of globalization. What that means is there's a whole lot of different, styles from different countries, different cultures. Like, some people like K-pop. Not my thing, but if it's yours, good for you. But that's an impact of globalization. This shirt, I believe, is made in China. A lot of stuff is made in China. That's an impact of globalization that basically everyone holds to because so much product is made out of there. So there are different levels of globalization. Some people, like, they're very into, the culture stuff. Other people just, technically there's culture, the culture of production that is, a major economic factor, but that's a lot more of a product than a real cultural item. And so there are a lot, almost everybody engages in globalization from different nations. So with the components of different social structures, there's status, role, and social institutions. And basically that's just kind of where you fall in the social hierarchy. Like, with status, that's, do a lot of people like you? Do a lot of people not like you? Are you popular? Are you a loser? Like that kind of, where do you fall? Do you have a lot of close relationships with people or not? Status, are people walking to the other side of the hall to avoid you or, walking down the hall with you talking to you? That's kind of what that means at Centennial. Along with role, that's a very similar thing. What role do you fill? Are you a class clown? Are you the quiet kid that everybody asks for answers to for work? Are you just, kind of in the middle, talking to people but not being too obnoxious, that kind of thing. And then social institutions, that's with Centennial a lot of times like clubs and stuff, basically where social groups can form in the midst of another. And talking about social groups, there's primary and secondary groups, in and out groups, reference groups, and social networks. Basically, these are all different things talking about, what, subcultures and categories are you going into? Are you in the theater department? Are you on a football team? And obviously some things like, the sports subcultures are a lot more popular than, necessarily like the fine arts subculture type of thing. That's kind of the in and out group of it. So that's what the grouping means at Centennial. It's, what subculture are you in and who's in it with you and where do you fall in the social hierarchy? Are a lot of people there? Do a lot of people, join that group or do a lot of people tend to avoid it? And then with the components, varieties, functions, group dynamics, that's stuff like, group size, leadership and integrity, and that kind of thing. And that is more of a group-to-group basis because if you look at Centennial as a whole, obviously the leadership, that's like the faculty and teachers and, principal, that kind of stuff. But then when you get closer and closer in clubs, that could be like, the club leader, or maybe the teacher who's running the club. Maybe there's, you know, multiple people in charge. Maybe there's a system, that kind of thing. As well as group size. That's what I was talking about earlier. Do a lot of people want to join your group, or do a lot of people kind of stay away from it? And then strengths and weaknesses of formal organization and bureaucracies. That is definitely, I mean, it doesn't apply to a Centennial as much as you could say, you know, corporate business structure with a micromanaging boss and an effort to, you know, to basically power trip over the employees. But with Centennial, it's a little bit lighter than that. It's more the system is teachers over students, and there are a lot of teachers that are like, I'm the teacher, I can't be wrong, you have to listen to everything I say. And that's kind of that similar micromanaging boss. However, there are a lot more teachers who are a lot more loose and just chill, and it's like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, let's have this be a conversation, not just me yelling at the class. And so that's kind of what happens there. And same with the formal groups, it can kind of divide people by, it's like, oh, you know, I think, if you haven't seen it yet, aliens, there is a classic tale called High School Musical, and that is brilliant, looking at the different groups and subgroups of basketball players and theater kids. And can someone who plays basketball be a theater kid? I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but truly one of the best odysseys of the modern time. So yeah, thank you for watching this video brochure for Centennial. Hope you enjoy your stay here. If you witness a fight, those are always fun. That's part of culture. People don't usually stop them because teachers come in and break them up. But for the little time they go on, they're kind of interesting to watch, I can't lie. So yeah, see you later, aliens. Hope you enjoy your stay on Earth. We'll probably leave soon. It's kind of a mess down here.